Our next order of business here this evening, as Mr. Odette had noted earlier, and City Council acknowledges now that 4 letters of objection were received. I will now ask the City Clerk to read the letters as they will now form part of the record and consideration of Council.
Dear City Council, re-application for amendments to the Municipal Plan Bylaw and Zoning Bylaw, 3 Rivers Construction Limited, PIDs 40170391, 40170409, 402-93581. Well, I can pull it closer maybe. Is that better? 40180515, 390 Radio Street. I'm writing to express my strong opposition to the proposed amendment of the Schedule A zoning map, bylaw number 110, which seeks to change the zoning classification of 390 Radio Street from residential, single or 2-unit dwelling, R2, to business light industrial, BLI. First and foremost, I want to highlight the overwhelming opposition of nearly all residents in the immediate vicinity of 390 Radio Street to this rezoning proposal. We believe that converting a residential lot into a business light industrial lot would have significant negative consequences for our community. One of the primary concerns is the anticipated increase in traffic on Radio Street. Currently, Radio Street is already heavily trafficked, and residents can attest to the constant issues of speeding and noise caused by vehicles with modified mufflers and exhaust systems. This is not an exaggeration. It is a reality we experience daily. Including business and light industrial activities to the area would only exacerbate these issues, making our neighborhood even less conducive to the peaceful, family-oriented environment we value. Moreover, the proposed plan to designate 390 Radio Street as an exit-only onto Alexander Street raises additional concerns. Alexander Street has always served as a vital pedestrian pathway connecting Radio Street to Jane Street. It has historically seen a high volume of foot traffic from both adults and children. It is crucial to note that Alexander Street lacks sidewalks, forcing pedestrians, including adults, walking their dogs and groups of children to share the road with vehicles. Despite this limitation, the community has managed to navigate this situation by practicing patience, driving at lower speeds, and accommodating pedestrians. Alexander Street has become known as a friendly and inviting neighborhood with limited traffic, attracting people from outside the immediate area to choose it as a preferred walking route. Introducing more traffic from the proposed exit-only plan would not only disrupt the peacefulness and safety of the area, but also put pedestrians, especially children, at greater risk. The impact on child safety is a significant concern. Many students in our community walk to school in the mornings, and expected surge in traffic during rush hours would pose a threat to their well-being. We should prioritize their safety by maintaining the residential zoning that helps ensure a calm and secure environment for our children. The proposed change acknowledges this fact specifically on page 10 of the Planning Staff Report, which states, the proposal would present an intensity to the level of traffic that would surpass existing conditions and patterns of activity in the neighborhood. I would also like to draw your attention to the fact that we already have the Newcastle Industrial Park, which is less than 3 kilometers away from Radio Street. This industrial park currently has 6 available lots, PIDs, as indicated on page 4 of the City of Miramichi Industrial Parks brochure. This existing industrial areas provides businesses with affordable real estate options, alleviating the need to encroach upon our residential neighborhood. I've attached a screenshot highlighting the PIDs in orange for your reference. Website reference, Miramichi-Industrial Parks, Miramichi-Industrial-Parks-913, tradeandindustrydevelopment.com. While I understand that the zoning letters were distributed to residents only within a 100-meter radius of 390 Radio, I wanted to emphasize that the concerns regarding property values extend beyond this limited area. The entire immediate community is deeply worried about the potential decrease in property values if the rezoning is permitted. We have invested in our homes with the understanding that our neighborhood would remain a residential-only area and any change to this status would adversely affect our property values and overall quality of life. As the owner of 366 Radio, situated at the corner of Radio and Alexander, I am directly affected by the proposed exit-only plan for 390 Radio Street. Given that my driveway aligns with Alexander Street, the increased traffic resulting from the rezoning would present a significant safety concern for our children. Currently, we enjoy a sense of security and peace of mind under the existing residential zoning. Moving into this area less than 2 years ago, we made a conscious decision to reside here based on the understanding it would remain. See Google Map below. We urge you to carefully consider these concerns and disprove the proposed rezoning. In recent meetings and discussions with our neighbors, we have found that our opinions are shared by many who may not have been able to attend meetings or write letters and emails. Preserving the current residential zoning would ensure the safety, tranquility, and property values of our community. I would also like to inform you that a summary of the concerns expressed in this letter has been summarized on the next page. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Arthur Savoy, property owner of 366 Radio Street. Below is a summary of several concerns that we believe should be taken into consideration. Increase in traffic. The proposed rezoning will lead to an increase in traffic on an already heavily trafficked Radio Street. Residents have experienced issues with speeding and excessive noise from vehicles, including loud revving of engines. This increase in traffic would further exacerbate these problems, affecting the peace and safety of the neighborhood. Pedestrian safety. Alexander Street, which would serve as a proposed exit-only route from 390 Radio Street, is frequently used pedestrian pathway connecting Radio Street to Jane Street. It currently lacks sidewalks, forcing pedestrians, including adults, children, and individuals walking their dogs, to share the road with vehicles. The additional traffic from the rezoning would pose a significant safety risk, particularly during rush hours and when the children are walking to school. Light pollution. The introduction of business and light industrial activities on the rezoned property could result in increased light pollution. This would have a detrimental impact on the quality of life for residents, as well as disrupt the serene and peaceful ambiance of the residential neighborhood during the evenings and nighttime hours. Noise pollution. The current residential character of the area provides a quiet and tranquil environment for residents. However, rezoning the property to allow for business and light industrial activities would likely introduce significant noise pollution. The sound of machinery, delivery trucks, and increased commercial activity would disturb the peace and tranquility that residents currently enjoy. Property values. The proposed rezoning has raised concerns among residents about the potential decline in property values. The perception of a shift from a residential-only area to one that includes commercial and industrial activities can have a negative impact on property values. Many residents choose to live in this neighborhood specifically because of its residential nature, and any deviation from this could undermine their investments and desirability of the area. The next one is attention Rhonda Ripley, City Clerk. I'm writing to inform Miramichi City Council that my family is totally against the City of Miramichi giving consideration to enacting an amendment to our municipal plan bylaw and zoning bylaw for amending bylaw number 109, municipal plan, and bylaw 110, rezoning bylaw, in regards to PIDs 40170391, 40170409, 402-93581, 4018-0515, 390 Radio Street, Miramichi, New Brunswick. I, Debbie Doran, and my spouse, Kevin Doran, live at 175 Alexander Street, which is directly in front of a section of Doran's Recycling and within 100 meters of the property. For a couple years, we worked together with the Ombudsman to have Doran's Recycling clean up their unsightly premises, and the outcome was that proper fencing did get installed in our neighborhood, and another neighborhood where scrap was stored. We spent years trying to get, the city of Miramichi to help my husband and I and our neighbors get Doran's Recycling to install proper fencing that adjoins our properties. The only employee with the city of Miramichi that was helpful and informative in regards to our issues with Doran's Recycling was engineer Paul Hayes. Mr. Hayes informed me during one meeting that Doran's Recycling and Scrapyard should not even be in a residential neighborhood, but because of some grandfathering law, the business was able to operate in the residential neighborhood as it was located in. Imagine listening to the loud noises of banging on metal, the operation of power tools such as gas-powered saws, the operation of trucks with loaders, etc. The horrible smell of the chemicals that came from occasionally burning rubber off of copper wiring, and wondering if your property would get contaminated with battery acid and other hazardous materials within the scrapyard was also a great concern to us. Because of Doran's Recycling being located in our neighborhood, we dealt with rats and trespassers sneaking into the scrapyard at night trying to steal stuff from the business. Traffic coming and going was always a concern with the many children that have resided in our neighborhood for years also. Our family has lived at 175 Alexander Street, Miramichi, NB for approximately 40 years, and we have not enjoyed being outdoors at our property during the operation of a business next door. We are taxpayers in the city of Miramichi and deserve to enjoy our property after long days of working. We deserve to be able to sit and relax in peace and quiet outdoors without the intrusive noise from a light industrial business being located in our backyard. The property PIDs 4017-0391, 4017-0409, 4029-3581, 4018-0515, 390 Radio Street that Three Rivers Construction is looking to have rezoned from single or two-unit dwellings to business light industrial should not be rezoned. Our whole neighborhood is made up of homes with great families, and no businesses except for Doran's Recycling has been located on this side of Radio Street. We want and deserve to enjoy our quiet, friendly neighborhood like any other residents living in residential neighborhoods. We do not want or need a light industrial business in our neighborhood. Having a business operating in our backyard would more than likely depreciate our property value also. Alexander Street has no sidewalks, and the intention of using it as an exit only for business purposes would increase the chance of putting the many men, women, children, and pets in danger of being struck by vehicles exiting the business location. Many pedestrians walk on Alexander Street each day and have done so for as long as we've lived here, and their safety should be of the utmost importance. I doubt Three Rivers Construction Limited would operate like Doran's Recycling did, but we strongly feel and believe that light industrial business should be located in industrial parks or properties already zoned industrial. The noise pollution from the operation of power tools, trucks, loaders, etc. would be a disruption to residents in our neighborhood. The other commercial activity from a business would also be a disruption to the residents' peace and quiet they appreciate and deserve as taxpayers and homeowners in the city of Miramichi. Let residents live in comfort in residential zone properties that they purchased and pay property tax on each year. There is not one good reason why the city of Miramichi councilors, or anyone for that matter, should allow a light industrial business to move into a residential area. Best regards, Debbie and Kevin Doran. The next is, Dear Rhonda, I called your office and was unable to speak with you, so I left a message. On behalf of my husband and I am writing to inform you that I will be attending the public hearing at City Hall tomorrow, June 27, 2023 at 6 p.m. We are not in opposition of the proposed bylaw. We are excited to have Three Rivers Construction Limited make good use of the property, and we look forward to seeing their business thrive in our community. As a landowner within 100 meters of the property locations to be rezoned, we have questions with respect to the information provided. I was able to speak to the GMRSC Planning Services Planner, Nick Odette, RPPMCIP, in regards to the proposed development, who addressed a few of my questions. We still, however, want clarification on the following. Business hours. Will it include Saturdays? Noise level, removal of trees, proximity of fence. Currently, the fence is 32 inches from our house, and we suspect it is over the property line. Will the screening provided on all sides of the subject property that borders residential uses be replaced or repaired? Where the lot is to be rezoned from from residential use to BLI is the minimum side yard where the lot abuts a resident zone, 9.2 meters. Will there be a washroom facility on site? Who is responsible for enforcing the relevant bylaws? And we may have a few more questions as well. Looking forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Paula and Lucas Obi. Attention, Rhonda Ripley, City Clerk. I am writing with regards to the proposed zoning change at 390 Radio Street from single or two-unit dwelling R2 to business light industrial BLI. Concerns/objections to the zoning change include increased noise to the surrounding area, increased traffic to surrounding street that currently have low traffic, Alexander Street/Francis Street, and the potential decrease in property values to surrounding homes. This letter, however, was not signed.
Okay, thank you, Clerk Ripley. Moving on to our agenda this evening is item number 6, and this is input from those wishing to speak for or against the written objection received by the City Clerk. First of all, we'll start with A, the applicant, Three Rivers Construction Limited. Is the applicant present here this evening? And do you wish to address council regarding the letter of objection, noting this is your opportunity to do so? And I just would ask that you would identify yourself by name if you could, please. And make sure the microphone is on. Thank you, Gail.
Good evening, Clerk. My name is Whitney Foran. I am the owner of Three Rivers Construction. With me, I have my fiance, Darren Henderson. He is my operations manager for all of our projects. So we're very excited, to have our business have a home base. Our business is growing in this area, and we have a great quality of employees. Right now, we currently have 15. We have a roofing division and a general construction. We're looking for this place to be a home base for our employees to meet every morning, get prepared for the day, and then go to the job sites. And as well, I will also have an office there and be there Monday to Friday. So I will be there as a point of contact at any time if there's any issues.
So I can speak on the construction side of things. Like that's what my my job is, I guess, or what she makes me do. So the proposed renovations and the proposed use of the property pretty much sums it up in our application about when we discussed or described our use and using the building as mostly storage for our tools. There's days where we may fabricate some walls or maybe fabricate a baby barn or something inside the building on bad weather days. For the most part, we leave at 7 and we're not back till 5:30. Like that's kind of how it goes. Like we're mostly on job sites unless they're bad weather days. So that our proposal that we made to use that facility for those purposes is pretty much that's our whole intent. And then the office side of things, like Whitney, there's the building on the left that would be 1,000 square foot building approximately, which would be an office for her and myself and a few other things like we proposed. Washroom facility in that portion of the building, a new washroom facility. We've been informed that there's water and sewer connection that's available to be tied into right there at the corner of the building. We inquired about that, and that's what we were informed. and we would plan on accessing that and utilizing that option. And then on the renovation side of things, you know, beautification of the property, we have some really good plans for it. Just the office itself, the main buildings, tearing down some structures that are there. Wheelchair accessible facility, barrier-free washrooms in the office, and then moving across and over into what we call like what would be a storage facility, which is about 2,500 square feet. That's the biggest property that you see in the photo, the gray steel building. That would be more or less like what you could call cold storage for lumber, supplies, and general things like that. Then the white building, we have a full intent. We would finish that building, interior and exterior, and it would be climate controlled, heated, so that it would be a 365-day, like, you know, we could work in there during any weather conditions. That size of that building's, I think, about 1,325 square feet, and that would have, like, you know, our table saws, chop saws, things like that there. We don't have mechanical tools or anything like that there, so that's basically what we would do. Maybe fabricate some kitchen cabinets, baby barns, picnic table, you know, like small item things. When we have some rain days and our staff can't work outdoors and our carpenters, you know, we keep a day's wage for them and they build some little projects. That's our intent.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Foran and Mr. Henderson. Moving on with our agenda. B, the floor is now open to individuals wishing to speak for or against the written objection received by the city clerk, noting that we did receive 4 letters. That opens the door for anyone to speak tonight because those letters of objection have been accepted. So the floor is now open, and I would just ask that anyone who does take the opportunity to speak at the podium, please identify him or herself here this evening. And now is your opportunity. Are there any persons wishing to present to council this evening?
And she just turned the speaker on for me. I live at 383 Francis Street, and I am always pro-business. However, I'm not pro-business, and I know these people, so it's hard to say this, but I'm not pro-business for business in a residential area. Just on our street alone, there are 7 small children with 2 more on the way, and this neighborhood is rebuilding with young families. And when Doran's closed, I have to tell you, I was super happy. There was lots of traffic. They had that same system going on. And we do have children passing all the time. We don't have that noise going on anymore. We don't have smells. The neighborhood has just been better without it. And like I said, I'm very pro-business. I would love to see the Hendersons and the Forans go up to the industrial park, where I think all industrial business should be. That's my opinion, and I'm happy that I was allowed to share it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fortunato. Are there any other persons present wishing to address council here this evening? Sir?
Good evening, councillors. I take it you're all councillors. My name is Mel Scott, and I live on 375 Francis Street. And God knows I'm not one to try to run business out of the Marmichi, because, you know, but we live in a quiet area. We're retired, most of us. A lot of us are still working. And increase this bit about, oh, you can only enter the place from Radio Street and exit it from Alexander Street. It's all baloney. You only can go in from Radio Street, but when you come out of onto Alexander Street, if you turn left, or if you turn right, you go to Radio Street. If you turn left, you go to George Street. And if you go straight ahead, you come down our street, on Francis Street. So, and in the area, there's 8 or 10 kids school age. They're used to running back and forth the road. It's going to increase the traffic. There's no doubt about that. And this bit about it's being switched from residential to industrial, light industrial. What is light industrial? Industrial is industrial, is it not? Somebody must have the answer. I mean, can that place, once it's residential, can it be flipped and go, God knows who would come in? I'm not trying to make these young people lose a business by any means, but I definitely don't want it. Because when Doran's left, my wife used to have to go out every second day and scrub all the windows from the dust that comes from that place. You know, we're not going to start that again. And our prices of our property will go down. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Are there any other persons present wishing to address council this evening, either for or against the proposed amendments?
My name is Paula Obi, and we live on 170 Station Street. And I just wanted to clarify that my letter was not an objection. I know these people a little bit, and I think that their business would be very well suited if it's a Monday to Friday. Saturday we may have a problem because we like to sleep in on Saturday, but I really think that it would contribute to the city. I do understand the other people in our community having that frustration. I mean, we lived by Doran's our whole life, and it was not pleasant. What they're proposing, I think, is a better business model. So I just wanted to clarify that I'm not opposed. I just wanted clarification for what their business will be doing.
And so noted, and thank you, Ms. Obi. Are there any other persons present this evening wishing to address council?
Hi, Kevin Doran.
Kevin?
I live on 175 Alexander Street, directly adjacent to Doran's previous recycling. Like the letter said, we put up with a lot over the years, having to fight with city council over fencing and smells and everything else, and not getting much help. I'm like the other guys, not one bit against a business. These guys, I don't really know them, but I don't think it's a good place. There are other places. There's 2 industrial parks here in the Miramichi, which are better suited for these industrial businesses. We're in a residential area. We'd like to keep it that way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Doran. Are there any other persons present wishing to address council this evening?